First contact with Joshua Put.
Hello, Earthlings. How you doing? Welcome to First Contact Radio. I'm glad that you could be here today. It is Thursday, the 28th of September, 2017. That, of course, is on the Gregorian calendar. While on the Jewish calendar, today is the 8th day of Tishri, the year 5778. This is the first month. Actually, it's the 7th month on a Jewish calendar, but it is the beginning of the year. The new year begins on the 7th month. This is the 8th day of that month. We just passed Rosh Hashanah, which is the beginning of the month, and we are coming upon Yom Kippur, which will take place over the course of this weekend, tomorrow evening being the beginning. Let's take a further look right here, what's going on. Okay, here we are, 8 Tishri, the 28th day. If we're going to jump over to take a look at what's going on with our daily astrology of the planets, we could see that the sun sign here, like it was yesterday, is in Libra, while our moon sign is in Capricorn. I told you yesterday that it was going to be making that transition over to Capricorn. Well, here we are at Capricorn. So just a refresher, so you remember. Libra. This is a Libra. This is the scales of balance. It is represented by air. It's all about the words and the actions we speak in order to find balance in our life. Okay, the idea is we want the words and actions to speak to benefit us. We don't want the words and actions we speak and take and do to hurt us. Very, very important. And of course, the moon sign over the next 2 days is Capricorn. It's an earth sign saying that we're dealing with things unconsciously in the physical realm, in the earthly realm, but we don't want to get caught up in the illusion, because when we get caught up thinking that the earth, the physical reality, is all there is, that is when we get confused. There's a higher power, a higher reality behind us. We have earth, but before earth we have water, we have air, and we have fire. Okay, so we have fire, water, air, earth. Earth is the final one. So we have to remember that a higher spiritual ideal. If we want to make a change to anything that we're doing, we go to the highest ideal and we change it. Maybe we go to the fire, to the ideas, and we adjust our ideas so that trickles down to affect everything else. Or maybe we go into the next state, the emotional state, and we adjust our emotions, what's going on. Or perhaps we're in the area of words, where we're dealing, or air, where we're dealing with words and actions, and we have a different way in which we're expressing. And earth is simply the representation, the physical representation of the thoughts that we are expressing through us, that then become filled with emotions and expressed into the world. That's what this physical reality is. You know, we hear the Bible says God spoke the word and the word was. Okay? That was exactly the process I'm describing. Take that idea, apply emotions, speak those, boom, you created the reality you want to create. So that's what's going on today. So that's what we need to be aware of over these next couple days. We don't want to get caught up in the craziness of the physical world. We want to understand that the physical reality, while important, is only a part of the picture, especially as we're going through all of these challenges we're going through here in America and throughout the rest of the world, of course. All right, so let's jump on over now to some of the news that I think is important you need to get to today. First story here, Beijing orders closures of North Korean firm in China. Okay, very significant. Very significant here. All Korean companies have been ordered to stop doing business in China. AFP report citing an unnamed Chinese official. After the UN Security Council passed new sanctions 2 weeks ago, the Chinese Commerce Ministry said North Korea firms and joint ventures in China would be closed within 120 days. Following North Korea's sixth and largest nuclear test this month, the UN Security Council voted unanimously to expand sanctions in Pyongyang and has halted the country's textile exports and capped fuel supplies. It is the ninth U.S. Security Council sanctions resolution over North Korea's ballistic missile and nuclear programs since 2006. Okay, so this is good news. Donald Trump, President Trump, has taken great steps, and this is pretty historic what's going on. You know, Barack Obama wasn't able to do this. President able before him, Bush wasn't able to do this. This is something that the president, Donald Trump, is doing different than the other presidents. So there's a lot of progress. When people say progress is not being made by this president and he's not getting anything done, well, the people who are saying that are just using those words as a shortcut to thinking rather than actually figuring out what's going on. Just a little side note while I am here, I want to point something out to you. If you notice right here up at the top, there's a couple of links as archive.is. A lot of times, websites disappear. A lot of times stories disappear. And so one way to protect that is to archive stories. Okay, right here, this is the original link. What you do is you simply go to this page, archive.is, you paste in the link of the website or the page you want to save, and up here it says saved from, and it gets this nice little header up on the top. And this is how you can save stories. It's very important that we do this because there is a great effort to provide censorship and in order to censor and remove these stories. By placing them in archives, we, the people, can make a difference on saving the stories and information. Of course, downloading things to your computer is important. You know, make sure you have the proper protections if you're going to be downloading anything, saving files, all very important stuff because there's an effort to remove all of these things. Strange but true. All right, another important story is the story of John F. Kennedy. We all know that John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Uh, that's pretty much something that everybody should be understanding and knowing. And we've all wondered what happened. How did that get by? What is the people going to really find out what really took place? Well, here's an article that speaks to this. Will Trump, should say President Trump, will President Trump finally reveal 54-year-old secret FBI and CIA files on JFK assassination next month? Scholars are eagerly awaiting the anticipated release of thousands of never seen government documents related to President John F. Kennedy's assassination. Now they're waiting to see whether the President Donald Trump will block the release of files that could shed light on the tragedy that has stirred up conspiracy theories for decades. The National Archives has until October 26 to disclose the remaining files to Kennedy's 1963 assassination unless Trump intervenes. The CIA and FBI, whose records make up the bulk of the batch, won't say whether they've appealed to the Republican president to keep them under wraps. The still secret documents include more than 3,000 that have never been seen by the public, and more than 30,000 released previously, but with redactions. The American public deserves to know the facts, or at least they deserve to know what government has kept hidden from them all these years. Okay, very good information. Will we get to the truth of this? Well, they've had 50 some years to go in and adjust and change any documents. You know, hey, liberals, just Democrats, members of the left. John F. Kennedy was a Democrat. Okay, this is someone that was killed, and he wanted to do some of the things President Trump and some of the other presidents wanted to do. However, the deep state didn't like him going about doing those things, and they wanted to eliminate him, and as we know, they did. So the deep state is alive and well. Okay? It is very much alive and well, and anybody who thinks otherwise, well, unfortunately, you are just being fooled. Now, switching gears over to Hillary Clinton, we know that she has a long trail of bodies. You have the Arkansas stories, which are somewhere up to 50 some deaths attributed to Hillary Clinton. Maybe she herself hasn't gone in and actually done the murdering, but somehow or another she seems to be complicit in all of these things. Well, here's a story of another mysterious death. A guy named Paul Horner, fake news publisher who claimed he both hated and helped elect President Trump, found dead. A leading purveyor of fake news in the U.S. presidential election who said his deceptions helped elect Donald Trump but never thought he'd actually get elected has died in Arizona. He was 38. Maricopa Maricopa County Sheriff's Office spokesman Mark Casey said Tuesday authorities discovered that Paul Horner was dead in his bed on September 18th. Casey said that the Maricopa County medical examiner performed an autopsy which showed that there were no signs of foul play. He said that Horner had a history of prescription drug use, and evidence at the scene suggests that he could have had an accidental overdose. Accidental overdose. So Hillary Clinton makes jokes and claims that President Trump might try to kill journalists, and then a journalist ends up being dead shortly after that. Let's just add this to Hillary's list because Hillary is a despicable, disgusting, evil-minded person. I am so mind-boggled at the people who actually think Hillary's a good person, especially people who I know that have claimed over the years to be so spiritually connected into things. They can't see the evil that this person is. I'm just so baffled. But then I remember back to the Bible, the book of Revelation, the various chapters which says even God's children will be fooled. So I believe that is what we're seeing here. And it's unfortunate, but people need to wake up because there's a lot of these deaths that are occurring. Okay? So those are kind of the highlights of some of the things going on. There's a lot more going on out there in the world of politics and world affairs. Best way to keep up with it, I have a Twitter feed. It's at firstcontactradio.com. You can just keep up with my Twitter feed, or it's First Contact Now, at First Contact Now. You can keep up with the stories. I'm tweeting things out all day long that I am, learning and investigating and so on and so forth. So the information's available. All you got to do is check it out. Now let's switch gears to a story that's really kind of captured the attention of the entire country, if not the world, and that is the National Football League. As we all know, the National Football League has decided to show its anti-American face. And it's showing it, and it's not apologizing for doing so. As a matter of fact, it's ostracizing anyone who wants to stand up for America, which is really sad that it is happening here in this country. Even teams like the Dallas Cowboys, once thought of as American team, took a knee to honor not the American flag, not to honor the men and women who serve, not to honor the police officers, but to take a knee to honor the thugs that are out there attacking the police officers. 5 police officers were shot in Dallas. I believe it was in cold blood. It was done by a Black Lives Matter connected individual. And really, the police, the Cowboys, are actually going to kneel in support of the ones who are murdering? Oh, Jerry Jones, what a hypocrite you are, and how far the Cowboys have fallen. But they're not America's team, and as a matter of fact, the NFL is crashing and burning as we speak. Let me show you a few things that are going on. Here's a story. Wow. Top sponsors of NFL issue statements about national anthem protests. Despite massive boycott threats of consumers, at least 3 major sponsors of the NFL have come out in support of players disrespecting our flag and veterans. NFL players have joined the now unemployed quarterback Colin Kaepernick to take a knee on the field during the national anthem as a way to show support for the Black Lives Matter anti-cop movement. The protest exploded over the weekend when President Trump spoke out against the disrespect NFL players are showing for the flag, turning the protest into anti-Trump protests for players who many believe are still angry that President Trump won the election, defeating the seriously flawed Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton. Ford Motor Company, Armour, and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated issued statements that affirmed NFL players' right to kneel during the pregame national anthem, while also sounding patriotic notes and affirming their support for the flag. Ford Motor Company, one of the biggest sponsors, just revealed that they are supporting the national anthem protests. We respect individuals' right to express their views, even if they're not ones we share. That's part of what makes America great. Okay, the tangled responses are the latest version of the challenges faced by corporations in a world in which presidents makes public demands and denouncements of corporations, companies via Twitter, General Motors, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Goes on to say Americans are not easily fooled by these actions of disrespect. These are actions of disrespect. There's no word about it. No other way around it. These are disrespectful athletes. There was a police officer, I believe she might have been a police chief, somebody high up there in the ranks in Michigan, who called them degenerates. They are degenerates. The people who are kneeling are absolute degenerates. I make no apologies about it, and nobody else should either. This protest, this misguided protest, they say it isn't about veterans. Yesterday, some jackass decided he was going to kneel at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Okay? There was no football players there. There was no American flag that was being flown or the anthem sung. There was only a soldiers that were being honored by other soldiers. There were people standing around to watch this. This is a place where people go to respect and honor those who have died in our country, the many nameless, faceless ones who that tomb of the unknown soldier represents. Some jackass Negro decided he was going to go there and kneel down. Somebody should have smacked that little bitch upside the head and left him as a marker there on the ground to know that this isn't what you do. But don't worry, I trust that he will be found out and that he will be brought before the public so that they can see the disrespect that this man has. And I hope that this man understands how he took the Black Lives Matter movement and he just moved it back even further. Moved it back even further because he just proved that this is nothing more than a racist movement by a bunch of black individuals who are expressing black supremacy and black privilege in this country. The most racist group of people I've seen ever in the entire world are members of the black community who think that they, because of their skin color, are somehow getting a pass because they've been victimized for so long. This is the legacy of Barack Obama. This is the legacy of a anti-American president spouting out anti-American sentiments. And then, of course, his dumb followers following along with that and expressing their anti-American sentiments. If you don't like America, get out. Get out. You're despicable, degenerates. You need to get out of the country if you don't like it. Period. Period. Okay. There's a lot of flat burning going on these days. Fans are not happy about what's taking place. Here is a page for you to check out and go down here. One after another. Videos of people burning their NFL gear. Burning their gear. It just keeps going and going and going. Because the American people are fed up. I've been watching these videos one after the other after the other. I've been tweeting them out. I've been putting them up at the Facebook page. These are American citizens completely upset by what's going on, burning thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of merchandise. I watched one guy, he had 4 packs of season tickets for 4 persons, burned them all. Another guy, he had about a dozen jerseys, burned them all. And now people say, oh, so what? They're the ones losing out. No, they're not. They may be losing a little bit of money, but they're standing for their country. These NFL players pride themselves on the fact that there are other people in this country wanting to be like them, wearing their jerseys. Now those same degenerates are watching people burn their jerseys because they were so stupid and ignorant. It's 2017. If people don't understand how the slave trade works, how the slave trade got going, if people don't understand that Europe was very much involved with the slave trade in 2017, then that's their fault for not knowing. But to have a group of football players who are saying how bad slavery is, talking all kind of racist talk, and then going to a country where slavery really got a lot of its start, to actually go there and show support for that flag and that country that brought slavery is the absolute highest form of ignorance by those men, those degenerates, and people should be upset, and rightly so. Rightly so. Because if you're going to disrespect this country, then get out. Get out. You have no reason for being on your knees. But being on your knees is a sign of submission. And I think it's kind of funny on one hand how President Trump has got all of these people getting on their knees. Okay? All these people getting on their knees for President Trump. I think that's hilarious. And all they did was a knee jerk reaction. And people are saying, well, Donald Trump brought it on because he used the phrase son of a bitch. It's a word, it's a phrase, it's used. It was effective. Get a clue, people. Donald Trump is playing them. He's playing the NFL, and the NFL is crashing and burning. Crashing and burning. I hope people stand by their morals on this. I hope they stop going to the games because the NFL needs to be brought into a place of understanding where they're not yet. They need to be brought up to the standards of being an American supporting organization. What I want to know is how do the veterans feel when they're watching their teams stuff get burned? How are the veterans who went and played and are no longer in the league? How are they liking watching their league being destroyed by these activists who are making these protests against the American flag so significant? And why is it that the players on the teams that are the good Americans, why are they not speaking up? Oh, it's under the guise of, well, they have the First Amendment rights to do this. You know what? You're right. They do have the First Amendment right. But just because someone has a right doesn't mean doing that thing is the right thing to do. I have the right to go out and do things in the world, but some of those things wouldn't be right to do. We all have rights, but it's not right to act upon every sort of whim that we have. But people are doing it, and people are using this as an excuse to prove how anti American they are. But not only anti American, but these people were protesting against the president. If it was me, I'd round them all up, I'd drop them in another country, and I'd let them fend for themselves for a while so that they could see what America is like. And when they start begging to come back to America, then maybe would let them back in because I knew that they might understand a little bit. But I'm not expecting these dumbass football players or the dumbass idiots that are kneeling out there. Stevie Wonder was kneeling the other day. Another another person I don't understand why he's doing that. But they are, and it's sad, but that's the state that we're in these days. Now, one of the degenerates that knelt over at in England for the Baltimore Ravens was a guy named Ray Lewis, a guy who's out there speaking like he's a pillar of morality, a pillar of integrity. This man was charged with murdering some individuals. He got off, but people still believe he's a murderer. And here's a picture of him, a statue of him over outside the stadium in Baltimore. And guess what people want to do? They want to take that statue down. That's right. They want to bring this down. There's been 30,000 signatures to take that statue down in Baltimore. But you know what the great people of Baltimore, the authority figures in Baltimore decided they would do? Rather than take this statue down, because not only does this represent a murderer, but also represents an anti-American, the people in that town, the mayor, the people at the stadium decided it'd be better to put extra security guards there to protect the statue. Can't be bothered to protect statues of real heroes. Oh no, we have to have an emotional knee-jerk reaction and pull those down, but this one can stay because this guy is anti-American. Here's another thing that's kind of, similar to all of the other ones that are pulled down that are anti-American and you don't like. This guy's a Democrat also. You see a pattern? Democrats keep doing anti-American things. I'm not saying that the Republicans are doing any better because there are plenty of despicable people in that group. But these statues that you're seeing are taken down that you're attributing to slavery, to bad things, are all members of the same group, the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is the party of slavery. And any black person that joins the Democratic Party, you no longer have the right to speak about slavery. That is gone because you joined the party that has enslaved people. You proved to America how uninformed you are by joining the party that you are claiming is doing the very things that you hate, enslaving people. So keep joining them. Keep joining the parties and keep wondering why stupidity continues to exist because you continue to make it go. Black members of the black community who are activists for this Black Lives Matter agenda are creating more racism and more divisiveness in this world than they care to admit. They want to point the fingers like it's somebody else. It's shameful. But all of the people walking around Black Lives Matter, they don't care about any other life. Because if you say other lives matter, oh no, that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable to say another life matters. Mm-mm. Better not do that. Better not do that. So, where are we at here? Got some good stories. Let me throw some good things your way here to wrap things up. First of all, remember the player Villanueva? Well, his jersey sales really skyrocketed, and here we have a story of him. His donating all of his proceeds that he's receiving from the journeys to various military groups. Okay, so this man is a man that went ahead and did something that was necessary. It's unfortunate that he caved to the pressure of the situation and claimed that it was, didn't, you know, kind of apologized. Don't apologize, okay? If you say something, stand by what you say. Don't apologize. Because the liberals, the left, the Democrats, it's like blood in the water to them. The moment you apologize, they're assuming you did something wrong. You ever hear them apologizing? No. You don't hear blacks apologizing for all the racism that they're creating. They just keep doing it. You don't hear Democrats apologizing for all their anti American sentiment. They just keep doing it. You don't hear members of the corrupt governments and the lefties that are out there causing violence apologizing. They're just doing it. Don't apologize for the things that you believe. Stand by the things that you believe. It's the most important thing that you can do as a human being. Here, I just closed off that story there. It was a story of the Lingerie League. Women saying that they would never kneel for the anthem. A little gotcha to the members of the NFL because the men won't stand. The men are cowards, but the women in this league, they will certainly stand, and that's very significant. The story right here is a feel-good story I wanted you to see as the story finally does pop up here. But KISS did a charity concert to help raise money for those affected by the hurricane out there in Houston. And so it's really great. They raised a lot of money to help kids that lost their things in the fires, in the floods, excuse me. And that's what's going on. So um, I'd like to wrap things up here with a final thought and prayer. This is this is Psalm 111. Praise the Lord. I will give thanks to the Lord with all my heart in the counsel of the upright and the congregation. Great are the works of the Lord, yet available to all who desire them. Majesty and splendor are his work, and his righteousness endures forever. He established a memorial for his wonders, for the Lord is gracious and compassionate. He gave food to those who fear him. He remembered his covenant always. He declared power of his deeds of his people to give them the inheritance of his nation. The works of his hands are true and just, and all his mandates are faithful. They are steadfast forever and ever. They are made with truth, with uprightness. He sent redemption to his people by commanding his covenant forever. The beginning of wisdom is fear of the Lord, sound wisdom for all who believe in God. Okay, there you have it. Something just to kind of send us out into the world. Just keep thinking good thoughts, keep doing good things, stand up for right. It's the most important thing that we have. Skip the NFL because they're not proving themselves to be friends of America. Your life will be better for it. That's all I got to say. If you like the show, hit the subscribe button. I'm here Monday through Friday. Till then, have yourselves an awesome day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I love you. Keep loving yourselves. Peace. I'm out of here.